rest by pressing number 5. You get y, and you can enter your equation. Let's say we want to draw the curve of x squared minus 2x minus 1. We press the execute button, and this allows us to input another equation, but for the time being let's not do that. Let's just draw the graph. You can either press the tab button to go to the graph tab, or go down to draw graph and press OK. If you don't do that, if you go to the graph button, you get the same thing. Let's say we want to draw, we simply just press OK, and we have our curve. You notice that automatically the screen is from values of x negative 6.3 to 6.3, and for y it's from negative 3.1 to 3.1. This is because of a window setting that was already in the calculator. If we want to change the setup, we can do the process in a different way. Let's do tools. We see the view window, and let's say we want to change the window that we can see. Let's say we press OK, and now we have either a choice of preset windows, or we find that the current setup is x minimum is negative 6.3, x maximum is 6.3, and so on. If we choose preset windows, we have one, which is the initialized windows, the window that we have seen. We can change that to, let's say, the standard window. And if you notice that the x minimum is now negative 10, the x maximum is 10, and the same applies to the y values. Y goes from negative 10 to 10. And if we draw the graph, we will find that the window has changed accordingly. Let's look at the scale. Let's say we have our x minimum and x maximum, and let's say that we want the scale of 2 on the window for the x scale, and let's keep the x scale as 1 for the y. Let's graph, and we find that the x scale is going in steps of 2. Let's consider another item under tools. The graph must be drawn. Choose tools, and let's say we want to use graph solve. This allows us to do quite a lot of interesting things. First of all, if we choose it, we can choose to find the roots. Just press 1 or exe, and this will tell you that the first root is negative 0.4142, and if you press the right button, it will take you to the other root, and it will give you the value of the roots. If you choose tools again, there is also a trace button. Let's trace the curve. Now you start at x equals 0, y equals negative 1, and if you trace, it just gives you various points on the curve with various values of x and y. Now if the window is different, you'll have the step that the cursor goes through is slightly different. Let's look at modify something that we won't need. Let's look at zoom. You can zoom in, or you can zoom out. those can be accessed through either that menu or through the plus or minus buttons. So let's try to zoom out. We just press minus and we zoom out. Plus, we zoom in. Minus, we zoom out. If we choose tools again and we go to zoom again, we will find that we have something called the zoom box. This allows us to focus on one particular area of the curve. So let's say we are only interested in this area. We put the cursor at one corner, we press EXE, and then we draw a particular box, the box that we're interested in. And then press EXE and you find the curve. The window is now what used to be enclosed in the box. Let's go back to tools and let's look at the window. We'll find that it has already changed to the new values. Let's choose a preset window and let's go to the initialized window and we'll draw. And the third curve. Looking at tools again, we have an interesting option where we can pan. If you don't like the location of the curve on the screen, you just simply press EXE after choosing pan, and then you can relocate the curve so that it is central to your screen. Now let's say we want to draw another curve. Let's say we'll draw 5 minus x. You'll notice that what used to be blue is now red, indicating that the curves will be different. So EXE and let's draw. Obviously, there's something interesting up here that we cannot see. I'm not interested in the lower part of the curve because I can see the vertex. Nothing interesting is going to happen below that. So I will change the window. I will choose tools and I will just increase the Y maximum. So let's try 10 for example. See the curve. I perhaps want to shift it a little bit up so I can use the up and down buttons. Now everything is clear. Let's choose tools and let's go to graph solve. I'm interested in the roots again. If I choose the roots, now it flashes. It tells me which curve do you want me to find its roots. If I want to find the roots of the straight line, I just press the either up or down button. It flashes on and off. I press EXE and it tells me the root. Another interesting feature is when you go to graph solve, you can look for the minimum value. For which curve? Obviously for this one, you choose and try that again. you the coordinates of the vertex as 1 and -2. Tools again, and we can use GraphSolve to find the intersection. The first point of intersection is -2 and 7, and if you press the right button, it will take you to the second point of intersection, giving you the coordinates as 3, 2. You may be interested in the y values for given x values. In this case, you can go to the table menu. This can be accessed by pressing the tab button, and in this case you get the value of x and the corresponding values of y for both curves. If you choose tools, you can set the table domain. You can give it a range. So let's say you start at 1 and end at, let's say, 2 in steps of 0.5. If you do that and you display the table, you get from 1 to 2 in steps of 0.5, you get the y values for both curves. Moving on, if you look at this screen, you can see draw graph or display table. Those are also accessed through the tabs here, but there's something here called viewing setup. We can go up to viewing setup, and we can see that we have something called type. In grade 10 we'll only use y equals. We are not going to draw all those other types of curves. You can set the view window from here, or you can set the table domain as we have done a moment ago. This is just another way to access the same things. Now, if you look at this equation and you notice that 3 dots here, that indicates that you can use tools again. So let's do tools. A very important button is the select button. If you choose not to select this equation, you will see that the color is gone. It's a blank box next to it, and if you draw, it will only draw the straight line. It will not draw the quadratic. This is important if you want to go back to a curve, but you don't want to type it in again. Let's go back and select this curve again. Change symbol is for the types of curves that you want to draw. Keep it on equal sign. The line style changes the style of the line in which the curve is drawn. The line color is for this equation is going to be blue. Built-in function is something that we will not use. Delete if you want to delete an equation, or this can be done by the back button as well. Let's try something else now. Let's say we want to delete both equations. AC, delete all, OK. And now we're free to start again. Let's say we want to draw the curve of x plus 1 all squared plus 15. And we draw. On your calculators, it will tell you that you cannot see the graph. This cannot be seen here on the emulator, but it will give you the option to do something called Zoom Auto. Let's see what that is. Let's do Tools, and let's go to Zoom, and also is number 1. So we choose number 1. And then what happens is that the y-axis, the y-scale changes so that for those x values that we have on our window, we see the curve. So rather than just look haphazardly for the curve, the calculator will tell you where it is. And finally, let's look at settings. Table with graph, if you choose this, you can get the table and the graph on the same screen if you choose to see the table. To show the view window settings, you can remove that, not choose it, and then you see what happens now. We can draw. And it will draw immediately. It will not give me the settings before as it used to do. Let's look at settings again. We're not drawing inequalities. Derivative, keep it off because we're not using calculus. The coordinates, do you want to see the coordinates or not? The grid, do you want to see the grid or not on the screen? The axis scale, it gives you a choice of seeing a scale on or off, or specify a scale. The label, to see the x and the y on the axes. To show the equation, keep it on, because if you want to trace, you want to know which equation you're tracing. And graph simultaneously, if you choose that and you have more than one graph on the screen, it draws them at the same time. This is not really important because if it doesn't, it will just draw one after the other. This is something that we're not using for the plot and nor the sketch. And the draw type is connect, and that's it.